keep it short and simple today. If you could hear it, that is what a Tomei T-Trax diff sounds like after 700 miles and a break-in fluid change. And that's a hell of a lot better than it did sound when I first installed it. It doesn't matter what forum posts you read, what 3-second YouTube short you watch, it's really hard to prepare yourself for how terrible this thing sounds when you first install it. I'll probably insert some footage from me breaking it in here, or some of the other figure eights I had to do here. But yeah, when the instructions you receive with the diff tell you that it's going to make noise when it's functioning, they really do mean it. Now, this was all done in preparation for a rally I have coming up soon. It's one I did last year, and actually on last year's trip, I believe I broke the diff, or at least like finished it off. From the factory, the third member for the differential, or the rear axle on these, has what's called a crush sleeve. In order to set the pinion depth, you literally crush it to spec and then sort of leave it alone. But the upshot of that is, if you drive the car kind of hard, and especially if you have sticky tires, you might end up crushing it even more, and then the pinion depth goes out of spec, and it starts to eat itself, makes a bunch of noise. And that's what my diff was starting to do starting last summer. So, partially because we all love wasting money, and because I had this trip coming up, I figured let's finally shut the diff up. So we got a Tomei T-Trax diff, we got a new 4.7 ring and pinion, shorter than the stock 4.3, 10%, just like a 911 ST, shorter, and a new throttle cable, which we'll all get to in a moment. But again, back to the diff. You actually have to pay attention to the directions. It says to do figure eights off the clutch in the turning sections, not off the clutch, rather on the clutch in neutral. You gotta not be putting any power or overrun on the diff during the figure eight sections. Again, like I'll post a photo of the directions, or at least another inset of me doing the figure eights here. And what that does is helps to wear in the clutch plates. There's a way to get around this, of course, which is to buy the more expensive Cause Super Q, which I believe the main difference with that diff is that they WPC treat the clutch pack. So all of the wear that you have to do yourself, and that's what most of the noise is from new, is done kind of from the factory. Mike Kojima, again, at MotoIQ, swears by this, has done it to a lot of the parts on his current 8.6 build. But now that the diff is mostly broken in, it's been a lot of fun. Like, the break-in was hell, but now that I've had some time to drive the car a bit harder, I wish I'd done this sooner. I think I'm at a comfort level with the car where I'm really able to explore its capabilities, or at least, sorry, not the capabilities, but the diff's behavior more than if I just threw it into the car when I first bought it. But it's really, together with the 4.7, woken it up a lot. What it's done, it hasn't turned it into a drift car like you might expect. So this is a 1.5-way diff, which means it locks on acceleration and locks half as much on decel, basically. What it's actually done is it's given the car more grip, whether I'm on the gas or in trailing throttle and braking situations. The rear is more stable, it's more predictable. If you have a Miata, if you have a BRZ, you have a Torsen diff, and those are great because they take basically no break-in, they're essentially maintenance-free, and do limited slip differential things, but I like the on-off behavior of a clutch type more. Torsons, whether it's in the Miata, and especially my S2000 when I had it, I always felt like they had a slightly grabby nature. You had to be very mindful of your throttle behavior, because if you got into a situation where the wheels were starting to slip and you came away from the power a little bit too much, the whole thing where it sends the power to the wheel with the most grip would kind of backfire, because the car would sort of start to snatch in that direction. Excuse me, cyclist. Clutch type, however, it's either locked or it's not. And what that does is it makes it very predictable. Helps make your inputs, or not make your inputs, but you can be more accurate with your inputs coming into and out of a corner. So that's been a lot of fun. Other mods, again, the 4.7, 10% shorter than the factory 4.3. I live in California. The car is the car's completely stock legal, actually. I've got the EGR, stock, ECU, no ITBs, no nothing. So a easy way to make the car quicker, just to put a shorter gear in it. E30 guys know this, of course. You know, the first thing everybody wants to do with their 325 is throw a 373 rediff in it. The muscle car guys will talk about, you know, going from a, I don't know, 3.1 to 410s and, you know, all the fun that can be had with that. This, not as extreme, but it's just enough to help with certain corners, and especially going uphill. There are corners now on some of my favorite roads where I used to have to be in third in order to maintain speed even, that I can now do it fourth, which is a lot of fun. And perhaps the most surprising change has been the throttle cable. So this car had cruise control from the factory, but my buddy convinced me to delete it because on these cars, excuse me, cyclist, on these cars that have cruise control, the throttle cable doesn't go directly to the throttle, it goes to the cruise control actuator. And then there's a cam and another cable that goes from that unit to the throttle. And apparently, they do like to fail. And when they fail, they tend to fail in a way that locks the throttle into whatever position you had before. Which, you know, if you're driving spiritedly in the middle of nowhere, is probably going to result in a nasty surprise. So, fine. We got rid of the cruise control, went to a non-cruise throttle cable, and the unexpected benefit of that was I now have a brand new cable. So, like, yes, duh. But I didn't realize how much stiction was in the old cable. I don't know if it was just the length, because, you know, it was effectively twice as long going to that unit across from the throttle cable and then, or across from the throttle body and then to it. Or if it's also, you know, just it's been wearing inside itself, eating the rubber inside and gumming up the cable. Now I've got much more pedal response, right? It feels like the car has got a lightweight flywheel in it because I'm not dragging the cable through an old sheath as much. That, together with the 4.7, has made the car feel almost as quick as a 1.6 Miata. But that's all part of the fun. Anyways, that's all I wanted to do. Just a quick update on the Corolla project. A quick PSA for anybody else who's installed a Tomei diff and wonders if it's broken or if you just need to break it in. Probably the latter. Listen to the inset. And yeah, if you're thinking about doing these mods yourself, just go ahead and do it. Yeah, do it.